What is going on, guys? Welcome back to It's Another Freaking Story Time with the Boys. I got a new one here for you. We're going to do a hunting version. I'm very interested to see how you guys react to this. Let me know in the comments below if you like this. And we are with my cousin Fritz, who is the #1 admin for New York Hunters Only on Facebook, the group.
Good job. New York State Hunters Only. Look at that.
Yeah, New York State Hunters Only. I don't know if you can see that there. This hunting stuff's been a long time coming. I've been wanting to do a hunting video for quite some time now. Wanted to get out in the woods. I don't get in the woods as much as I used to, if I do ever. It's like maybe once or twice a year. So the podcast is perfect, I think, to bring some of these stories. We have a lot of family. We grew up hunting. Our grandfather from day one would smear deer blood on our cheeks when we were born.
Little kids.
Yeah, little kids. It's just been in our family, so this is exciting. I've been bugging him to make questions for me for it for probably like 2 years now.
I suck at this stuff. So.
or 3 months.
Plus I procrastinate a lot. That helps.
So, as you probably already can tell, that his #1 hobby is hunting. Probably a little fishing. One of us is better than the other at that in this room.
Hunting's my go-to. He's got me in the fishing part. I'll give him that.
So, without further ado, we're going to start it off here. What are your other hobbies besides hunting?
Well, I got 4 kids and a wife, so when I have the time doing that, and between the time hunting and pretty much Henderson Harbor's fishing, that's what we do. You know, take the kids out, get on the boat, or just sit around the yard and day drink and play some horseshoes.
I'm retired at horseshoes.
Oh my God, I don't want to hear it already. Don't start already. We're just starting out.
It's true though. I retired like probably 10 years ago, maybe longer.
As soon as he realized that I was getting good, he stepped out of the game real quick. That's what happens. Get that thumb to tab action, you know.
I'm a little better at cornhole though.
yeah. Put us on a team though and it's over.
So, you made these questions, which are pretty cool.
Some of them, I mean.
Where'd the other ones come from?
You had like a guideline, I just went off of it. It's a fucking cheat sheet.
So, how many years have you been hunting for?
I don't know how many years it is, shit. I got my first hunting license when I was 12, but you know, I used to go with Papa and Dad all the time when your dad used to come up and all the old timers, but 12 years old is when I actually got my own hunting license and started hunting. And then my adolescent years weren't so great, so took a long break from hunting and came back to it at about 21, 22 years old, and just after, you know, my teenage years of being crazy and out there, it really settled me down and made me enjoy it a lot more. So probably from 21 to 22 to 37 now I am.
Do you have a first memory? Do you have a first memory of like when you went in the woods and actually carried a gun?
Well, I used to carry, my first gun I ever carried was a BB gun, and I'll never forget it. And it was with Papa in Hamlin, and he used to hunt rabbits out back across the cornfield. He used to let me take his BB gun, and we'd take the BB gun and go out. But actually, my own gun was the first time that I actually went out by myself. I've shot guns with my father and stuff that were his or that he was holding. But my own gun was the first time I went out by myself, shot my own deer in my own stand with nobody else around me. Old school, you know. Yeah, I'm trying to call my father in the evening. I'm like, I gotta gut this thing. It's coyotes everywhere, coyote country. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, you got 3 cuts, you know. Cut open, cut the esophagus, connect it down, you know. I don't want to get too graphic, but yeah, you got 3 cuts mainly, and I'm sitting in the woods by myself in the dark. Got a couple stories like that.
You're the coyotes coming, howling.
And I got that deer. I was so proud of myself, though. I come down to the trail, and I hear Ellen coming down on his 3-wheeler. I'm like, oh, sweet, I'm going to get a ride. Not going to have to drag this deer the rest of the way. He pulls up to me. It's my first doe, you know. All these guys shot deer. I'm like, oh, I got a nice doe. And he's like, oh, nice doe. And just takes off. and just leaves me there. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
That's great.
Yeah, that was my first deer I ever shot. Nice doe, it's good time. That was the first time I ever went in the woods by myself with my own gun. Mossberg 535.
Well, the next question is like, do you remember your first gun and your first bow?
My first gun I ever got was, I got it from my father. It was a New England 12 gauge single shot. Me and CJ boy, he got a single shot, which was fancier than mine, stainless steel with the synthetic stock and all. I had the old New England, and we got boxes and boxes of 12 gauge shells before, you know, the price is crazy. But before all that, we had boxes, and we would sit for weekends and weekends and just shooting these single shots, and they kick like a mule. I don't care if it's 2 3/4 or 3.5 inch shells you got them. They kick. They don't play.
That was the first gun my dad gave me.
I go back to school, my whole arm, my chest, all the way up to my neck almost. It's just a big giant bruise. You know, that was the first gun I ever got. It was a 12 gauge New England. My first bow was my first bow that I never really used, but I played around in Cohocton with as a kid. Todd gave it to me, and it was a old Fred Bear, because I shoot left-handed because and he had a left-handed bear sitting there, and he gave it to me. He's like, "Oh, I'll try to practice with this." And I fling arrows with it, but that was my first bow. My actual first bow of myself of actually trying to hunt with it and practice and get good was a Martin Cougar. Bonds camo. Good name, by the way.
Martin Cougar. Mine was a Martin Panther that I bought myself.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of my first one.
I remember though when I was younger watching you shoot out in the yard though, nonstop. You used to shoot all the time, nonstop. I don't know what. Gave it up. Fucking fishing. Sorry, am I supposed to swear?
No, you're alright.
Should I tell the story again?
For what? Just so you know, none of this is getting cut out.
You better fucking do some good job editing because I'm not very good at this.
What's your go-to, I can't even say it in order, your go-to tool for harvesting? You put deer, but like just hunting in general. Harvesting anything you...
Well, that's the thing is, you know, no matter what you're hunting with something with a different caliber or a different, you know, rifle, shotgun, I mean, you name it. So my go-to tool for hunting deer, that's why I put deer instead of like just hunting period, is I got a Model 111 Savage 30-06.
So I misunderstood it. I thought you were talking about the buck knife that's in your backpack. So
oh,
like
like an actual tool. Like, you know, your tool that you'll go to war no matter what. That's what you want to. No, my go-to tool for harvesting deer is definitely my Savage 111 30-06. But I think I got a favorite caliber or something. My favorite caliber that I hunt normally with, my go-to is the 30-06 because I think it's deadly, but the 30-30, I've been using that for probably the past 4 years. And Freddie shot a deer with it this year. I shot a deer with it this year. I think it's nasty. I love it. Short, you know, it's a little heavy, but once you're in the stand, you're okay.
My dad bought one. At the same time your dad bought his.
Yeah. The 30.
I remember the 30-30 is at a...
It's a Marlin.
Marlin,
the
yeah.
336
I want to say Marlin, but it's Marlin, yo. But I got that Savage that's got the silver barrel. Stainless steel barrel with the synthetic stock. Yeah. That's what I shot my last 2 deer with in Redfield, actually.
Yeah, you always got the pretty guns, you know.
Well, you got a Savage too, you just said. Same exact gun. All my guns come from gun raffles.
I won one, that's it. That 17 Winchester Super Mag. I think it's sweet though. It's a Savage too. Don't like the plastic magazine on it though. Everything's junk now.
What's your favorite call, attractant, cam? What's your favorite gear? Like, what do you take out?
First off,
what's in your backpack?
You know that I'm gonna go with the extinguisher for a call. Just because it's basic, simple, and I ain't one for being fancy. It works. It's for beginners or for, you know, people who've been out in the woods in a while. I love the extinguisher. People can say what they want. It's like a beginner call because it's so easy, but the thing works. Attractants, Black Widow, your deer lure. I mean, that's what I use. That's what I shout out. Team Black Widow. No, but definitely cams, Tactacam reveal. Shout out Tactacam.
I mean, talk about Tactacam.
I got the POV camera, which is, you know, you can put on your gun, your bow, everything, you know, actually filming your own hunts. And then trail cams, I have Tactacam Reveal also too. They're just a great company, great people. The products are awesome for the price. I mean, these trail cams, I mean, some people say that you can get better quality, but you're talking like Spartans and, you know, $400 cams and up. These cams are 100 to 120 bucks, and they're,
It's
you know,
crazy.
they're putting out good work, good images. I mean, they did it right. They did it right.
So can these people order them through you?
Not through me, but I mean, you can go to Tactacam.com or, you know, order them regularly through your neighborhood stores. I mean, everybody's got them right now. They've been loading up the shelves. Walmart should have them. Dick's has got them. I mean, anybody that I can think of that I've seen them personally. But yeah, you can look them up anywhere pretty much. Same thing for Black Widow, blackwidow.com. Black Widow deer lure.
So when you reach into your hunting bag, what's your go-to item? The
For
first one you just grab. Like if you're just in the woods, you're bored, you're screwing around.
I'm sitting there. Well, before I get into my stand, you know, I've already I got my scent drag with me, and you know, I hang up a little bit of drips, and then I get up in my stand. But my first thing, you know, I gotta hit a doe call real quick just to check the woods and see, you know, after everything wakes up and I've been sitting there for a couple hours or something, because I don't even touch nothing for at least probably an hour and a half. And then once nothing's happening, when daylight breaks and I don't see nothing, you know, then I'll start trying to vocalize and just trying to see if anything, you know, anything hears me or anything, you know, comes in, whatever. But probably a doe bleed's my first thing that I'm using on the extinguisher.
So back up to that question is, you didn't put this on there. What's your go-to tree stand snack?
Why you gotta do that?
Because you're a fat ass, and I know you're sitting in a tree munching.
I literally have a million of them. They got the old country store back open in Cohocton. So now, you know, I go there, we load up, the kids load up. I'm spending $60 on candy. I got everything. I mean, from Chico Sticks to Slim Jims to Mary Janes to Anna Squares. Go right, Anna Squares, and they all used to do, oh yeah, same thing. Yep, they got them, man. It's awesome. But my go-to snack, probably, I'm gonna have to, I don't know. I'm probably gonna go with either Anna Squares or Chico Sticks. I love keeping Chico Sticks in my bag. I love them things.
I hate freaking coconut, but I do like Chico
Yeah,
sticks.
they're good, man.
But then I'm sitting there with that.
You don't have much though. It's a lot of peanut butter. A lot of peanut butter though.
Where's your
It's not
primary
hard to go,
your primary spot? Where do you hunt? What's your favorite spot to hunt?
Cohocton, man, Steuben County. Our families had the camp there. That's where
Right.
our grandfather built our camp. You know, I hunt in 8A and stuff at our family members' house, cousins and stuff. But I love it there. Don't get me wrong, it's great. But my go-to spot to sit in the woods and like feel like out in the country and like do my thing is Steuben County, man, Cohocton. I love it. Nothing like it. Nothing like it.
And as I do more of these hunting ones, guys, just so you know, that kind of question, I feel like that question is going to be how you see in the snowmobile ones. Some of our answers are Tug Hill this, Tug Hill that. You're going to hear a lot of Cohocton stuff.
Steuben County.
Steuben County.
Oh, yeah.
Our grandfather had a camp there before we were even born, and it's still in our family.
Yeah, I go there all the time. He should come more often, but
Who?
you.
I come once a year.
Yeah, once a year to get freaking shit faced and go up on the hill. That's about it.
And food, cooked
Good
food.
food, good food. Did have some big ass tomahawks this year. At least you guys shared. I'll give it to you and Harry.
We do. This is probably one of
At
my
least you shared.
this is probably one of my favorite questions to ask on any of these. What do you enjoy most about hunting? It's kind of a catch-22 this question for anybody, I think.
The thing is that most people, like, you know, especially like anti-hunters or anybody that's looking from an outside perspective, most people are like, oh, it's the kill, it's the thrill, it's to get the big trophy, it's to get the, and of course that's a rush. It's the best, you know. But there is nothing greater, period, than sitting 20 foot up in a stand and watching the woods wake up around you and you just sit in peace. If you come from, you know, I come from the city, you know what I mean? So, like my bio says, I'm a city kid with a country soul. There's nothing like that, you know? And I feel like hunting had a lot to do with that and kind of like saved my life too. It's saved me from a lot of bullshit and a lot of heartache because it's something that I fell in love with and got passionate because of that, because of the peace. Like, there's nothing like sitting in the woods and watching it wake up and just enjoying that peace around you and even being there all day. I mean, you gotta enjoy it. If you're sitting out there, 15-degree weather with the wind blowing in your face, you know, everything's stacked up and frozen on, you gotta be enjoying yourself somehow, some way.
There's only one thing I like doing when it's 15 degrees
And it's
out.
the peace, man. Yeah, I know. It's the peace, man. That's my favorite thing. My favorite thing is the peace that it brings. It's beautiful.
I always remembered, and I don't even know if you were there when I was like 16 and stuff. I always remembered my dad getting ready for opening day.
Yeah.
It was a Monday, right?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, it was
back then. It was a Monday.
Yeah.
So it was just watching my dad get ready. Like, man, I wish I could go. And now when I could finally go, it's like you're the greenhorn sitting with these guys.
Yeah.
You know.
And those guys were, you know, they were all old school. They've been hunting for years. Before we were born. So when we came up, they knew, you know, what we knew that they did. So yeah, that's fun, man.
Some of my favorite memories.
Finally getting to go and being the little guy in the pole, and then hopefully to get something, because people at the camp would be more happy with you shooting something than anybody else, you know.
I remember my first
It's
opening
all
day.
built up in anticipation, and then you come home, we come back with nothing, but it's still fun as shit. And you tell some story about how you seen 12 deer.
Not that it matters to some of you new viewers, but you know, for some of our family members and my friends, my very first time up there, or my very first opening day, Al, Carm, Uncle Carl, Papa, my dad, Tim, Todd, like that's a freaking that's a freaking legendary lineup.
John Greenfield, Dave Nash, Dave, sorry.
Yeah, John and Dave. I remember that first time I went, Dave had his
red van.
The big red van. Yep. That's just a legendary lineup. Like, and I for years watched my dad leave. Your dad, missed your dad too.
Which most of them don't hunt no more, or not with us no more. That's why we got to get Toddy on here for one of these, because Todd, he was us, but he was older than us, so he was actually part of that old school crew, but still kind of related to us, you know. So. Yeah. He'd be an awesome candidate for that.
I want Todd for one story. I won't reveal.
Todd's good, man.
There's one story that he has with me, and we might be able to get him to shed a tear on here. So with snowmobiling, why I said that, with snowmobiling, it always goes to camaraderie, like that sitting around the table playing cards, having your beverages.
Yeah, there's nothing like it.
Matter of fact, my first sip of wine might have been from Al. Because he was doing like wine tasting that year.
There you go. Everybody's drinking wild turkey. Al's right around the wine. I don't know.
What's your favorite hunting trip and tale?
See, you know, that's where we kind of backpedaled there, because that question is what my answer was going to be, was your answer to the last question. And that my favorite hunting trip and tale is family, man. It's our group. It's, you know, you can go out there and you could have, you know, the time of your life by yourself shooting a 10-point, 8-point, 12-point, well, I don't care what it is. You got the time of your life and you shoot the biggest deer you've ever seen, and it's great when you're by yourself. It's awesome. I mean, you still get to feel like, you know, everything's great. But there ain't nothing like having your family around you, bringing that thing off the hill, you know, the camaraderie. Even if you don't get nothing, or you see one of your family members or people that you hunt with get something, there's just nothing like that. Family is like the most important thing when it comes to like a hunting trip to me, because even in Cohocton, when we go there at our family camp and it's surrounded by the plaques of everybody's names and the pictures and the old school, you know, all the small antlers that nobody cared back then, you know, I love that. But when you're sitting there by yourself, it's like, this is great. But when you're sitting in a full camp with a bunch of guys that are, you know, doing what you do, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it in the world.
Well, and I think that's the unique thing about our family too. Just you saying that and what I said. It's never been about like the kill.
Yeah, it's not.
It's never been about the fish. It's never been about, no matter what we do as a family, we've always had a lot of fun, and we find ways. Like I've been trying, because I always, when I do start story time, I always like, all right, I'll tell the story, the first story. Yeah. And I'll give you time to think, and I tell a story. I don't know what story I can tell.
Yeah.
I know what I can tell with other people.
No, but the camaraderie is definitely a thing, and that's the same thing that goes with Henderson too. You know, it wouldn't be the same. You know what I mean? Like everything, we you know, every family has their things and all that, but when we come together and we do it right.
Right.
You know, you can even have people with issues there, whatever, it doesn't matter, because when we come together, you put everything aside and enjoy your family, have a good time. And I love that my kids are coming up like that, because that's how we did. We never knew about financial issues or anything, but we were just running around the yard, nailing our shits on hitches. You know, jumping from tent to tent, trying to steal beers out the Uncle Chris's cooler. Sorry.
You got caught.
Yeah. Now I'm the uncle getting the beer stolen off the cooler.
Now you see why my car's locked all the time. Freddie and David likes jokes on you. You sent us to get the beer.
You just had us move your car. That's true. Yeah, that's fancy. What else you got for me?
What's your favorite? So in the Tug Hill region, we have favorite, usually like a loop. We do. Just kind of a segue into the question. We have a loop, like a lot of our loops are based around like where we eat, where we get gas and stuff. Do you have a favorite spot in your hunting area that you like to eat or frequent for a few shots?
We've had some pretty good nights.
Liquid Courage.
At Laugh a Lot and Station 26. The American Legion. I use all my military family to get me in there so I get cheap string. No, I'm just joking.
$2 beers, man.
Shout out to Cohocton, American Legion. We love you.
I think every American Legion lets you do that because we had a few.
Yeah. But Station 26 is kind of newer now. I guess they were older back then, but I don't know. We were Laugh a Lot. We went to the Laugh a Lot with the locals, and we loved it there. It's great, you know. Conservative bar, so we fit right in. But Station 26 is newer, so we loop, you know, we go to Laugh a Lot, Station 26, hit up Whalen, get food, come back out to the Legion, finish up the night at camp. That's all.
So, because I didn't frequent it a lot, what is that one place? Is that Carrie's, they call it? The breakfast spot? Is that...
Well, Carrie's disappointed us to close down.
Well,
we've had a lot.
That's how long I've been there.
We've had a lot of faith in Carrie's, and Carrie's let us down quite a few times. So go to Mikey's. Mikey's treats you right.
So more recently, what I was getting at is when we do the fall foliage weekend, I've done Laugh a Lot.
Yeah. Laugh a Lot's pretty much the go-to, man.
I'll put that video right here. Me and Nick took a ride to Laugh a Lot. Had a lot of food, took some shots, and it wasn't a ride in a car.
No.
Side by side.
Yeah, Laugh a Lot's pretty far, too, from camp.
They got nice looking food, though.
It's all main roads. I don't know what the hell you guys are thinking.
When we're together, we may not think.
I don't know what you were thinking. I mean, yeah, you really don't think much there at all. From the time you park your car until the time you drive it away that Monday morning or Sunday night, not much thought process.
No, I shut down.
Yeah.
Shut down and turn it on. Do you have a favorite spot? What's your go-to? Now, you don't have to disclose. Is it my spot? Is that what you're going to say? My spot?
Listen, first off, yes. Everybody's always been about the top of the hill, you know, the older guys, Aunt Lisa got it, you know, whoever did the most, whatever, they got the top of the hill. Seniority got the top of the hill, you know, whoever was in king or ruled the roost got the top of the hill. And everybody else got wherever the hell they went. So, you put up a stand about, 200 yards from the barn behind it, you know, this way, but, you know, it's pretty deep in the woods.
Not too far from the road.
But it's not too far from the road. It's not too far from camp, you know, like, it's a nice spot. And what most people don't know is that it's a nonstop travel path from hill to hill. So, you know, Cohocton's hills, they just travel there nonstop.
It's a funnel.
They always have traveled through this funnel, always. And so I was looking for a new spot, and we rebuilt, Dad and Harvey rebuilt Papa's old stand for me to hunt in 1 year. Then ended up getting crazy and messed up. So I'm like, I just need a spot here. So I talked to Aunt Lisa. I'm like, look, I need to put up a stand somewhere that I just know that's around nobody, you know, out there. I'm like, you mind if I look for a spot? She's like, no. So I'm like, let me go over here, because nobody's hunted here in 15 years. There's nobody been since you left.
And everybody's afraid to climb my ladder.
Nobody's got, it's bolts. It's not a ladder. It's not a ladder. I don't even know how the hell you got on that thing. I'm looking at that ladder and I'm like, Slobey got up there. That was a long time ago.
I'll tell you.
That was a long time ago.
I will tell you a quick story. I'll tell you a quick story about that ladder. And it did exactly what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Grandpa Nash wanted to hunt there one time. And he said he'd put his foot on the ladder and he's like... It's like a carnival. So for you guys out there, it's like a carnival. If you put your left arm up, your right knee has to come up.
It's a 4x4 post. It's a 4x4 post with bolts shoved in each. So yeah, it's like a pegboard.
And if you on the hillside, you're only like 4 feet off the ground. But on the
it's an incline. Over here, you're fine.
You're like probably down, 60 feet off the ground.
You look down, it's like, oh. So, yeah, I seen that. I'm like, man, nobody's been here for 15 years. And me and David used to play over there. My dog, we had a dog named Tasha. 2 times we brought her over there, and 2 times she chased deer out of there. And she would just chase them for miles. She'd end up coming back. But I'm like, man, there's deer over there. I know there's deer over there. Nobody hunts over there. So I found your stand, and I'm like, I don't want to put it in the same place. I wanted to come down a little more so I could see like the whole hill. So I actually came towards the road more. And now when you look up, I can see everything.
Right.
Everybody's like, oh, look, let's go up top. Let's go, to the fields. Let's go,
The key is to wait till they all come off the hill.
The thing is if you get there early enough, and if you leave late enough, you get all the hustle and bustle from them leaving their stands and moving around, and they come right through that funnel. I mean, it's done me well. That's my go-to spot. It's done me good.
So I've never shot a deer in Cohocton.
Yeah,
but I saw 2 bear.
It's weird, yeah. You see
saw a bear
right there.
One bear out of that spot, and then there's another one up next to my dad's stand. That one was mowing over freaking trees. I was like, I'm going down as soon as this.
Oh, I got some pictures of a big bear down there.
I've seen deer in all the spots, just never took a few shots.
Freddie is just starting to hunt, and we said, oh, we'll put him in this blind right here. My brother hunts right down the way from him. I'm like, oh, let's just sit here, let's see what he does, let's put him in the stand and see how he does, because he can just like passing your oats, whatever how he does, So Joe's standing over there and they're watching him, and he's hunting, and all of a sudden my wife calls me, and they're about an hour and a half in their spots. She's like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm hunting, what are you calling me for? And she's like, Freddie's scared out of his mind. All of a sudden, there's corn, and they didn't cut the corn yet. So deer, when they come in, they're coming in right there in bow range. I mean, they're 10 yards, Well, it wasn't a deer. He's sitting there with his bow ready, and all of a sudden this bear cub comes through. He's got a 35-pound bow. The thing's barely shooting consistent. But, man, he never wanted to be by himself ever again, so he's been on with me ever since. He's seen that bear, and it was just a cub, but he's like, I'll tell you. He's like, it sounded like just a train coming through the woods.
Just from the experience, you don't, especially when you're younger. I must have been like probably 18.
That's the thing.
And he's younger than that. Yeah. And even being like 18.
Yeah. When you're older,
you see bear on TV. Like you see bear on TV, you might be in a car in Adirondacks, and one runs across the road. Yeah. When it freaking walks in front of your tree stand.
It's a big difference.
So the first one I ever seen, I didn't see a deer that whole day. And it might have been a cub, it might not have been. It was so far away. It was down towards the driveway more. There was pines to the left, and I had seen the black feet. Yeah. So I stood up, got myself ready, because I thought it was hooves. And when that thing broke the end of the tree, I'm like, oh, okay. So as soon as it passed through, that one never seen me. It just took its time. It was probably there like 10 minutes walk through. Okay, gets through. 10 minutes go by, I'm like, all right, I'm done hunting for now. I'll wait till the evening hunt to finish this one. The second bear I seen, I got out of the tree right away. That thing, you know how my dad's stand faces the top of that hill?
Yeah, I love that spot.
So my spot is like probably 100 yards to the left of it, facing that same top, just a little different spot. And I heard noise coming through the woods. And then I'm seeing freaking trees like that, just getting, I'm like, and all I'm seeing is a tree. And then finally, it gets close enough, and mid-afternoon, I think at that time, the Harders, is that who they used to? Yeah. The Harders used to do these big drives in their land. Yeah. I think they spooked them out of the hardwoods there, and that bear was just freaking hauling ass at 25 miles per hour, just freaking cracking tree after tree, mowing them over. It went down, I said, done.
And when we were kids, it wasn't like that down there. I felt like there was never a worry about bear or seeing bear or nothing. Like, But as we got, like, when we first started, like, turning teens, is when, like all of a sudden there was bear everywhere. Like, all right, be careful on the trail.
Well, you heard the stories of them.
We're building forts and trees and everything.
you heard the stories of them
which they don't
repopulating them, putting the tags on them and stuff. And you hear the stories when you're kids. You're like, yeah, whatever. We haven't seen one.
Then you see one.
Then you put some hours in the freaking woods.
Yeah,
do your work, and then
one.
you see one, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Make your heart race a little bit.
Yeah.
What you got next?
Have you ever? So, I already know the answer, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes. Because your question is pretty basic. Have you ever brought a new hunter along?
Of course.
So I want you to walk us through, and you don't have to do a 20-minute answer, but just walk us through how your strategy in that. Obviously, Freddie, right?
Well.
Or are you friends?
No, Freddie's actually an older hunter than me now. This kid's killing more deer than me. We gotta tone him down a little bit. My daughter started hunting this year. My wife started hunting this year. And my nephew Jose started hunting this year. I brought all three of them this year. Of course, I brought Freddie for his first time. George for his first time. But this year was a good year because I got to bring a lot of new hunters out, and it's so different because you really don't care about anything that you see, or you're not invested in the time. You are literally there just to like want them to fill that tag, or at least see something, you know. For the younger kids, it's a lot easier for them just to see something, because there's been times with Freddie where I've known, you know, we've sat in the stand for 6 hours and you don't see nothing. It gets discouraging as a kid or a new hunter, you know.
Or an adult.
It's like, what am I doing out here? Or an adult. Me too. I'm like, hey,
could be getting tacos right now.
what am I doing out here? But you still got the piece, and you got the, you know, you got the camaraderie and all that. So he did follow along and keep up with it, thank God. But my main focus on is trying to get like the best place for them to go, the best thing, and obviously right from the get-go is like trying to teach them safety, period, how to carry their gun in the woods, when to reload, when to load their weapon, you know, everything, you know. And, you know, as me, we were brought up on old school. We didn't have, there was no rules, there was no ropes to carry your stuff up. We didn't have none of these luxuries. There was no harnesses. I mean, they probably had them, we just never knew that they were invented. You know, and we were in tree stands that some uncle made, you know, 20 years ago.
A boat seat.
Out of a car seat. It's an old leftover timber wood somewhere. No, but the best thing about bringing a new hunter out is trying to get them that experience in the woods, and not just killing something. Like I said, it's just when people sit there for an hour or an hour and a half, they're not used to it, or 2 hours, and they don't see nothing, and then all of a sudden you have like a little herd of deer, or, you know, any deer come
or you
through.
didn't hear a squirrel.
Yeah, yeah. The sounds keep you interested, definitely. But when you actually see something in there and your heart starts pumping, it's definitely, it's the best experience ever. And then to see someone harvest, you know, especially like Fred, who I brought up and taught everything to, and like, you know, there's no bigger prize than that. It's beautiful. I love it.
No, I
bring a new hunter out. But to new hunters, like you said, like I think the next one is like, what advice would you give to a new hunter or whatever? We could just go right into that with this, because I think the best advice is to actually find someone to help you. Don't just go into it by yourself, you know. See if you can get a mentor, or get involved in a group like ours, or, you know, New York Hunt Club, they're great too. Get into a group like, you know, a big group or anything, and just try to find somebody in your area that's willing to take you along and show you the ropes. And because it's, you know, people think that you just get a gun and go in the woods and sit there, and it's just not that. And then they get discouraged, and they don't want to, you know, they don't know how to look for sign, they don't know where to set up camp, they don't know how to scout, they don't, nothing, you know. So they don't know how to find food sources, find water sources, find bedding areas. So when you have somebody with a little bit more knowledge and like to guide you along, I think the experience will make you like it more, on top of the peace, because you're going to love the peace to begin with. But the peace wears off when you're young. You know, the peace wears off. You know, it's like, all right, let's see something. Let's, you know, harvest something.
Well, I had a great opportunity that I effed up. Brought Friday and David turkey hunting. And we missed the turkey season by like 2 days. But unbeknownst to me, we're watching. I don't do a lot of hunting in Redfield. if I'm being 100% honest. So all my knowledge is from the Rochester area or the Southern Tier. So I just mixed it up, and I said all's not lost. No. So it was just good to take them out.
They still went out. They still had.
And they chattered, and all they did was talk to each other.
Safety,
do the safety stuff. They're watching for squirrels, but at the end of the day, those kids were farting with each other and freaking talking, laughing. And I didn't even
They're laying down. I see them in the thing, camouflaging against streets. That's the experience you get. That's the experience you need. Even if it ain't a season, like Anthony, my wife's a big stickler, and she doesn't want me to take the kids to the stadium until they're at least 5. Which is fine with me because it's a hassle even at 5. But I want to get them out there and get them involved, And Anthony just loves to go out there and shed hunt. We don't ever find sheds, which is so. I'm sorry if you're a good shed hunter, you know where they are. Just put one down, let me get someone grab one. I feel so bad for the kid because I suck at it. I am terrible at it. I never find them. But he just keeps wanting to go, because it's not about finding the shed. It's about going out there and hiking and getting in the woods. And he learns something every time he's out there, and what not to touch, what to touch. He's learning nonstop, and he likes it. He feels like he's got a responsibility. So he feels like a big man and responsible. And that's without a gun or without a license. That's just hiking and having fun, that outdoor life. Love it. Got to get him out there.
Yeah, I do. So with COVID, there is a huge increase in, this was a kind of follow-up of what you were saying, huge increase in snowmobile. People going out and buying $20,000 snowmobiles, going on the trail and then wrapping herself around a tree.
Just because they don't have that experience of being out there.
We've been preaching in pretty much all these story times, and the same for hunting. Ask somebody. Ask us.
There's plenty of people out there.
I answer all my comments all the time. Like, I do the best I can. Even the haters, I even answer. Thank you for watching.
Gotta show love. Yeah.
So, that even with hunting, ask the right people. Ask your great uncles, your great aunts.
If you got nobody, because sometimes people don't have nobody and they're just trying to find their way into something. Really study it. There's YouTube out there. If you have the internet, look at everything. There's videos out there that will show you everything. Take that advice and use it. Don't go out there and just go on your own and say, well, that's what that guy said. No, most of these people are out here to steer you in the right direction. There's a couple assholes, but most people out here will show you the right way and be nice people and guide you right. Usually.
Agreed.
Usually. What do we got left?
It's that time. It's what I call it's freaking story time.
So what's that?
What's that? That's when you're going to tell me a story or two. Your favorite hunting story.
Well, I got one.
I usually like to start it out, and I really don't have, I don't think I have a hunting story with you.
You don't have no. He's got a million stories. I know every one of his stories, and you got to tell me a story. Are you kidding me? Well, except for Redfield stories, though. I don't got nothing to do there. Except for you're scary. Don't even look at me. We're not telling that story.
We're gonna actually, you know what? We'll tell it. I don't have. Me and Fritz haven't really hunted together. We more fish and do more drink and cornhole and.
Mike's the fisherman.
You don't come to Redfield no more?
You don't come to Cohocton ever?
Not for the same reason.
So anyways, you want me to tell a story or you to tell a story?
That's up to you. Go for it.
No, you could tell the story about out there, because your made up story you could tell them that you usually tell everybody else.
No, you tell it. You tell it and I'll fill in the blanks when you try lying.
There was no lies about this at all. We had a little too much to drink. Let's be honest.
We weren't drinking.
We had a little too much to drink. We were playing, what were we playing, ping pong? Or we were playing beer pong on the ping pong table? Or we actually playing ping pong?
We were playing ping pong.
Yeah.
Freddie was probably
He was sleeping.
a year old.
Okay, so that's how you're trying to know. This is how you're trying to know.
He's probably a year old.
I had young kids and my wife there at his...
one kid, not young, one.
One. And we were playing ping pong. Now, we both heard it. And we were in Redfield at his camp. Now, it's a new camp to me. I've never been there. He took me into the barn. I said, I don't want to be in here. This place is haunted. It's weird as hell looking, but it's all right. Scary, right? So we're in there playing ping pong, having a few cocktails, and all of a sudden my name gets screamed from out of nowhere upstairs. We both heard it. I go upstairs, my wife and kid are silent, sleep. This guy, It's just not a property that gives me good energy. That's all I'm saying. I don't get good energy when I go there.
Someone did say Fritz, and it sounded like a son or a
Yeah,
boy.
no, bullshit. That's
not what I thought he was going to tell you guys. I actually figured out the story I want to tell, but so real fast, I'll tell you. For you snowmobilers out there that are still watching, I appreciate you still hanging out. I took him on Fox Road in the car, and we got halfway down, and it was probably like 1, 2 in the morning, and we just shut the lights off.
I almost pissed myself. I almost fucking pissed myself.
So for you guys that are from Redfield, and you know the stars are out, it's pitch black.
I literally had to get out of the car and pee.
It's true.
Yeah.
So sorry I told that story so fast, but I just got excited because I do have a Cohocton.
I wasn't ready for that.
I do have a Cohocton story.
That was a good story. So I don't get involved with you. Let's hear your Cohocton.
I can't
story.
be trusted, I guess.
Let's hear your no.
No, the Cohocton story. What was your 4-wheeler? What was that 4-wheeler? Tell me the 4-wheeler.
Friday's got it now in the garage. It's in the garage right now. It is a 1985 Honda 4Trax 250.
So if I think about it, I'll drop this video that you might have seen before called the Hell Ride. And me and Nick, when we're up there, our last call, we go and we do a Hell Ride, and I'm not gonna tell you where we go. It's gated now.
Yeah, it is gated now.
Our last ride there was gated, and this guy, if you could see from here down, looked like a clown on this 4-wheeler.
It's a little 4-wheeler.
And
big guy.
Me and Nick drive 570s, and I gotta tell you, it was pouring rain, and I could see his headlight. It wasn't bright.
Half a flat tire.
Half a flat tire. This fucker kept up with us. So it was impressive.
I couldn't believe it. I can't believe I didn't crash. We were all hands on that little thing. The wheels are this big.
I just remember when we went through the field that starts with a P and ends with a O. I look back, and it must have been 600 yards. He was still.
I mean, I wasn't right up there with him. Let's not lie. But just for the fact that you can see me and I can keep up with you guys, I was amazed by it.
You had to hit the rev limiter the whole entire time.
There was nothing left in that.
Yeah.
There was nothing left in the engine of that thing.
It's not a hunting story, but that's probably one of my favorite.
It's a good thing.
One of my favorite times.
I just bought it back. It's in the garage right now. Let's start up and ride.
I got some other favorite times, but I do plan on recycling people and doing like fishing stuff.
Shout out to Chris and Steve for selling that back. It was awesome.
I would love to tell the bacon story, but now's not the time.
The bacon story. Oh my god. You're blaming it on a new kid.
The stuffed bears. The stuffed bears.
There's a lot of
nailed the stuffed bears all the trees.
About the orange stain on the roof.
Oh yeah.
The cottage.
Yeah, that's for another time.
You and my brother. That was a good night.
That was a good night.
I ain't gonna go. I was talking when we were on the weeds, and you fell into the weeds down there before.
Put another shrimp on the barbie.
Just riding your back.
Every time I think
we got a live one, mate. We got a live one, mate.
Mike and Kathy, what are you guys doing out there?
There's tents. We forgot there's tents lined up all the way down to the pit.
Yeah. No, every time I think of that orange stain, I also think of I was just telling somebody the story, not the whole story, but I don't know if you remember. We came home that night, and I leaned on the wagon wheel.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, my mom's like, "Why do you have a bruise from your armpit down to your knee?" I'm like, "I don't have a bruise." And I looked in the mirror, and I had freaking black and blue.
The wagon wheel pedestal.
Yep.
Freaking stuck in cement, steel wagon wheel.
Yep.
That'll do it.
The good old days.
The good days.
People seem to still be scared to hang out, though.
Man, we still make our good times, man. We still have good times. We can't keep dwelling on that. We had good times.
When I left,
but when we get together and we actually have a good time, it's always a blast, man. It really is.
when I left Leilani's party the other night, they're like, "Oh, where are you going?" I'm like,
"What's going on?
I'm going to bed, guys. I'm 40.
I know. So that's that. I felt like I was the life. I felt like I was the life of the party there. I was like, man, what's going on? I'm not the partier no more. I'm old. I'm going home, sleeping. No, I went to Justin's concert. Got shit-faced. Had Reggie come pick me up. Shout out to Reg. Thanks, man.
So what's your favorite hunting story?
My favorite hunting story.
Yeah.
That's what you've been waiting for.
Yeah.
So.
Because we could go on a tangent all day about this and that.
We got a million stories. But my favorite hunting story, honestly, is the one that Lisa told at Dad's thing. And that's probably and it's another night story, scared out of my mind. I went hunt with my father. I must have been 6 or 7, barely enough to remember, but I remember. You know, like I was old enough to remember, but way too young to be leaving in the middle of the goddamn woods at night. Right? So it's almost dark. It's probably a little past shooting, like probably, I don't know, you know. Dad shoots this buck, little buck. So we drove up on the Kubota tractor. I don't know, my grandfather used to have the old Kubota. I mean, it gets you up the hill in the winter because, you know, them hills are steep. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you're potting, you're all the way. So we got to park the Kubota way down. We go down the field, out to the clover field with the old blind. Uncle Carl's blind, Toddy's blind. CJ ended up using the blind. I mean, it's a blind we all know, right? It's not our blind, but it's a blind we know. So we've hunted it for years, you know, before when the herders used to let us hunt them top fields and stuff. So I'm sitting in this blind with my dad, and he shoots this 5 or 6 point buck. I don't know what it was. A little. The
herders are out there right now. We never let that fucking
Yeah, they did. So.
Thanks for all the good years.
A lot of memory. So we get up. Okay, there's the dead deer, and we're looking at it. My dad goes, "All right, I'm gonna go grab the tractor. Stay here with the deer." What do you mean, stay here with the deer? Let's drag this deer to the tractor. Drag the deer to the tractor. He's like, I'm gonna go get the tractor. We'll pick the deer up right here. I got hunters. You know, there's hunters walk out. I seen them walk in. Yeah. There's coyotes everywhere. You could hear the coyotes yelling. Now it's almost black. You know, it's dark. Can't see. So he goes and gets the tractor. Now I don't know, 7, 6, 7, I don't know, really young, too young. I'm in the middle of Harder's Field, man, with this dead deer. Right? Now, this is my first time I'm really with my dad when he killed something, I think, that I can remember at least. I got a dead animal sitting here in the middle of the field. I got coyotes I'm hearing screeching. We're just starting to hear talks about bears coming down here. I got hunters that I don't know that are strangers walking in the woods. There's my dad leaving me to go grab the Kubota, which is like 1.5 miles away. I don't even know how long it is. Man, that was the longest time of my life. When I seen them tractor lights coming down the field, oh my God, it was a sense of relief. But that story right there and that memory gets me now. It's just because I'm an adult. I'm a city kid. I'm from the city. Sometimes I get in the woods and it's, you know, you're getting out there early and you're coming out late, and it gets sketchy.
I'm gonna say though, it has nothing to do with being a city kid. Our dads just never said it. They never told us. We're vocal about it. Our dads never said it.
No, never said shit. Like, everybody was no fear. Yeah.
Let me tell you,
man, there's some sketchy shit, you know, going on during them hours of the night in the woods.
You remember my Mitsubishi Galant?
Yeah.
I can't remember how old I was. I can't tell you where I shot the deer. I know where I shot it. I can't tell you where. And I was dragging it, and I got up to it. I shot it with a 30-06, so it was probably a farther shot than I should have took.
Yeah.
But one shot dropped it in its tracks. I drug it probably the length of a house, and I was shot. Like I was.
Wow. Where was? Oh, it's not in Cohocton.
I can't tell you where.
Okay, because if it was in Cohocton, it's hills. The houses. Sometimes it could be serious.
So by the time I got out there to get it, dusk had hit. And as soon as dusk hit, I had 2 sets of coyotes, one in a valley and one to the left. So I'm dragging it, and my heart's racing. I'm like this is gonna be the big one, and I'm only I must have been like 23 or 26 years old, maybe, I don't know. I said, fuck this. I went and got the Mitsubishi. I drove around the gate.
Right, headlights right on the deer.
No, backed up to it. Went around the gate. I had that old orange drag thing that I had around me. I threw the whole orange thing in the trunk of the Galant, closed it, and fucking floored it out of there. Dude. I was scared. I could hear him with the windows out.
On the trunk? What the fuck?
Dude, I was scared.
And the Mitsubishi Galant. I think went through some shit.
The horns ended up being like this. I bet it was a 225-pound deer, dude. Generally,
antlers, not horns, but you know, we'll get it.
Generally in this spot, you don't get mass in the antlers.
Right.
So.
Oh, so I know where this is.
I don't know if the guy watches or not.
Anyway.
I seen him out there tracking it.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. So, that story and that memory, it gives me a little preparation, you know, during them times. I'm like, you know, that's when I was a kid, man. I used to sit in these woods at night. Dad was going to get the tractor by myself with a fat animal. Like he's scared of him.
Boosting yourself.
As soon as I get to my stand, I hear, I'm like, climb up that bitch.
Well, that spot, the spot that you have that was mine, I'd get in a tree, you know, our dads, for whatever, get up there at 4.
Yeah.
You're freezing your ass off. And then you sit up there and they're like, all right, see ya. Yeah. Oh, okay. So then within minutes, you're like, I know that's a shrub, but now that it's 4 in the morning, it's not a shrub.
Always.
That's
you
that
always
bear.
see antlers or bear, whatever you're looking for, you'll see.
Yep.
Any kind of design in them trees, you'll find it. Then daylight comes and it's just something blowing
You're
around.
like,
It's good though. It's good times. Very good times.
Yeah, I have a lot of good hunting memories, but I just don't enjoy it like I did one.
Oh, you're
I was
fisherman.
able.
You're a fisherman,
I like
bro.
fishing,
It's
yeah,
okay.
but I just don't.
It's all right. Somebody's got to wash the dishes, you know.
My whole thing about archery was, you know, I don't watch it.
No.
I got that nice throwaway dish stuff.
I was just kidding, bro. We're not gonna make you wash the dishes. You know, I ain't seen you wash the dishes a day in my life. You probably throw away your dishes right now.
Yeah, what is it? The good crystal or whatever?
What is it? The whiting shit?
The good whiting stuff? Threw it out.
Looks good.
It's gone. No, I do have a lot of good hunting memories, but what I was going to say is, even with archeries, when I kind of slowed down at it, I shot this one deer, committed to the shot, missed. When I committed to the second shot, it had looked at me. And so when I let the arrow fly, when the deer adjusted, it went under its leg and just cut the artery.
Did it die?
It ended up dying.
Oh.
I had to chase it through the woods for 6 hours and then put a kill shot on it. And I wasn't able to you said, I remember you shooting a bow. No, listen, you said, I used to watch you shoot your bow. Towards the end, I wasn't able to. I was college, work, and after that shot, I was like, you know what? I can't practice like I used to.
No, that's a good thing too, and that's a good thing for new hunters too. And like even when I was joking earlier about Freddie's bow not being that consistent, believe me, I wouldn't have him in the woods with a bow that doesn't shoot halfway proper. Like consistency and practicing with your equipment is a number one thing. It really, especially bow hunting. You know, rifle hunting, of course, you could sight in and leave it there as long as you ain't dropping it or bumping it, you're fine. But bow hunting, you know, you want to be consistent. Yeah. And nothing's going to be like it is sitting there with a still target either. So try to be consistent with still targets. But it still ain't going to prepare you for your heart pumping and that deer moving and the twitching and the, you know, the dip. And, you know, they duck arrows constantly too. So it's not going to prepare you for everything. But if you're consistent with your shot, and you can try to predict what's going to happen. It just makes it all the more better for you and for the deer to make an ethical kill shot.
At the point when I wasn't able to practice as much anymore, I started pulling. Yeah. Like I was shooting a gun. Like flinching.
Yeah, pulling the string back.
And at the risk of having haters comment, I took 3 shots at that deer after I shot it the first time. Yeah. Because, long story short...
Talk about an empty quiver.
We were in Nun. It was when my aunt had the place in Nun Day.
Yeah.
So me and my dad, every day I'd get out of high school, and we'd drive out there and then drive back. So it got to the point where it's like, gotta get back, gotta go to school tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So let's go up in the woods. We waited the allotted hour for the first shot when I hit it in the artery. And then the second shot was like an hour later. That's when we were like, brought a spotlight up. We're like, this deer has to die. It wouldn't run because it was hurt. And it was losing blood fast, but it also would run just enough where I finally ended up having to finally calmed down enough took the breath.
Get yourself.
And then after that,
were you antsy?
After a while, we were rushing. Like, we got to get out of here.
No, I'm saying like when you're in the stand and you see a deer come in front of you with a bow. Like bow hunting's different because they're coming in close, and you gotta have them come in close.
Right.
So it's a little different. You get a little bit more antsy. Like a lot of people get serious buck fever.
Yeah.
Are you one of those or?
No.
I'm more of an after kill shot. Like I'm more of a calm.
But I'm one of these.
And then once I let go, it's
pull the trigger.
Yeah. Then I'm like,
as soon as
I'm looking and making sure everything went perfect. And
as soon as my finger pops, I look around the bow.
Yeah.
That's why I practice so much, because I had to train myself to, just like golfing,
Follow
don't take your eye off the ball.
Follow through.
No.
Ethical shots are the best, and like you said, and fishing's your thing anyway. And not only that, but if you feel like you don't have the time to consistency practice, then don't go out there.
Gotta be self-aware.
I'll go out there and make stupid shots because it's not fair to you or the animal. I agree with that 100%. Gotta be respectful, always respectful to the game if you're hunting. That's why I love hunting, because it's not just about hunting or killing, man. We're the biggest conservatives and conservationists,
right,
in America.
So I'm gonna.
There ain't no other group that puts more money into the outdoors than we do. Period. There ain't one group on the planet that does.
That's maybe snowmobiling.
What to groom your trails? You pay for gas?
Don't get these guys started. Do not get these guys started.
Bro, I got a big group too. New York State hunters only. You got me, right? You got me.
All right. So you got a word. Don't answer this yet because I'm gonna spin this. My question 15 is always a love letter to snowmobiling. We got a love letter to hunting.
I don't do love letters.
That's fine. You got a word of advice to someone on the fence about hunting or a new hunter in general.
I already did that. That's why
you already did that. So, open floor. Take this time to cover anything you don't think you covered, or just in hunting in general.
I'll say generally, like I wasn't here to like cover to be like I know everything or be like big on the biggest guy on safety or nothing, but safety is the biggest thing, period, for hunting. It really is. Accidents happen, accidents can happen, things do happen. Safety is the biggest thing in the world when it comes to hunting. It's the first thing you should learn, it's the first thing you should know.
Everything, man, if you really...
It really is, man, it really is. And for the most part, I don't want to sit here and like dwell because I'm not like some instructor or some like fan. Right. I'm an admin of a Facebook group that I just enjoy for our mediocre family. That mediocre.
Well, here's the deal.
Like, we're not like professionals out there. Like I'm not. I'm not.
And that's okay.
Doing series and shit. I just here literally just. But I do like to keep things ethical. I do like to keep things responsible, and I do like to keep things safe. And that's the main thing that I like to teach anybody, including old hunters and new hunters. I've seen some old hunters make some shitty mistakes, man. Some shitty mistakes. And you got to call them out on it, because if you don't, that's how people get hurt. You got to learn, And most hunters that I come across, or even people that I come across, everybody is pretty much on that same page. You get a couple people that are, I'm old school, I don't really care. But most people are ethical and safety, and they want responsible people out there and want to help people responsibly too, and not turn them on to like shitty ways of hunting. Because there is a lot of shitty ways of hunting out there. But my main thing is pretty much like safety's key, man. Safety's key.
Have integrity in the woods.
Have morals. Take out more than what you bring in. If you see something laying on the ground that's plastic, some shit had left before, you pick it up. There's no reason for that. Stuff like that. Just, it's basic morals and values. If you bring it back to like everything, like I was bringing little Jose out, and he's like, man, he's like, it's just the moral. He's like, I've never felt like so like responsible and like so respectful, and like, because that's what that teaches. It teaches that responsibility and respect that these kids actually need. Because a lot of these kids don't get that responsibility. They're basically getting yelled at about what game they're playing or what they're not doing right. It's a day and age, because half of the generation is dumb. Sorry, half the generation it's following bad ways, in my opinion. Not in everybody's opinion, but hunting really does teach a lot of that responsibility and safety and morals and values, and it brings a lot of that. And
humility.
It did to me. And humility. You gotta have your balls busted. You gotta be a man about it. Yeah. But everybody there is gonna respect you if you're safe and responsible and have the right morals and values at hand. Of course, you're gonna get your balls busted, but most of the time, if you're safe and your moral compass is right, that's where you should be, in the woods. Period. That's my main focus, especially with new hunters. And Jose was telling me, he's like, I've never felt like that. Like, you know, like, it's like a responsibility, but she's like, you get kind of like respect from it, like being with the men, and like, you know, and it is, you know, like how you were saying coming up, like you finally get to go out on that day and like you're one of them. Because you earned that. You sat there and you waited, and you when they gave you a firearm, you treated it responsibly, and you pointed it in the right direction, and you made sure it was unloaded. And, you know, just basic stuff.
But I was fortunate. I was only able to hunt with those guys, I think, like 2 years. Yeah. And then, you know, some passed on, and
I was a little kid going down there. My dad used to let me take like a week off, so I'd go down there. I was one of those kids. Thank God, because, you know, like I said, the moral and the responsibility and safety, that literally honed me. It taught me a lot. It kept me way more humble than I should have been. You know, it's the best. Just be responsible with it. You know, I love it. Ain't nothing like it.
The outdoors.
The outdoors, baby. The good old outdoors.
I won't ramble, but I get like, I work with a lot of kids, right? And I take for granted, and I don't realize that I do it until I'm like, yeah, my dad's boat's in a boathouse. Oh, mister, what's a boathouse?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
But I've never not known that. My dad's had a boat since I was born.
Yeah.
Like, there's pictures of me underneath sleeping.
Yeah, you know how I feel.
I was like,
you know how I feel about that. A lot of people are like, how come people act like this? So, you know, how come they keep acting like this? And they don't want, people don't know no better. You know, when you come from where I come from, these people, they don't see a better life. They don't see opportunity. They don't see a freedom.
Right.
There's nothing like, when you're hunting in the woods, there is nothing like that freedom. You feel like you are a free American person. Like, you feel free. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. Like, oh my God, you're a free man. And most people don't get to experience that, which is sad. And that's like, that's probably one of the best things about hunting too, is watching new people get into it and experience that freedom. Like, we're allowed to do this. Like, what, you know, because there's so many rules in society with everything going on. And just the pure freedom of it.
Well, and it kind of pours off to weekends like, for lack of better example, Fall Foliage weekend. Like, it's kind of a no holds barred weekend.
It really is. For everybody.
For everybody.
Yeah,
but I've been on guys' weekends, and it's where, I can't remember the name of the place we went, but it was like a lot of acres. And we're out there doing whatever we want. But without that, what we grew up with.
Right.
It's kind of, what we're doing is not safe. But because we grew up, because I don't want to say what we're doing, but because we grew up and we had the examples that we've had a lot of great men in our lives to show us the right way. Yeah. From our dads straight down to our grandfather, and then just the older cousins, uncles, and aunts too.
We've definitely had some good,
but we've had a lot of good men in our life
that will point you in the right direction. And if they don't point you in the right direction,
another
yell at you and make sure your ass is going in that direction. That is the truth.
But honestly, guys, we'll ramble on for hours. We can, we will, but we won't. Fun, right?
Wasn't
not what you thought it was.
I wish I was more interesting and funny and made it more entertaining, but we'll work with it.
Maybe next time. And this didn't happen by accident. We got him with I Love Fishing.
Yeah, free stuff when you do a show. I mean, come on, that's crazy. What else did I get? Oh, my koozie. Dropped on the ground.
Koozie. Yeah. So, thank you for staying with us this long.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully this will kind of be a domino effect, and we'll get some of these other...
Check out Slow Bees on YouTube and New York State Hunters Only on Facebook. Catch up with us.
Yes. Hopefully it'll be a domino effect, and we'll get some of these other jokers out here, like Toddy and...
Yeah, you know, we can get Timmy Todd, Jay Clay. We can get some J-Dog in here, man. I'd enjoy that. We should probably do that.
We'd have a good...
It would be
good
a
little
good
hunting
show.
story time.
It'd be a good show.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that thing. Tell your grandmas, your grandpas, your moms, your dads, your aunts, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your friends, your frenemies, your enemies about all these videos. Like them, share them. And guys, this is where it ends.
This is it.
Thank you for sticking around. I love you guys. Peace out, and we will see you next time. And let me know in the comments below how you like this hunting video, because I got a lot of family that hunts, and we want to get more of these out here.
We can get more into detail about more different subjects
Yeah.
and stuff too. This was more like a basic, you know, see where it goes. Thanks, man.
Love you too.
Hobbies.